Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and if anybody out there has a fear of vampires or anything of that nature, boy do I have the recipe for you. Because this recipe is going to focus on, you guessed it guys, coffins. No, God, no. Oof. The evil eye, ward off the evil eye. No guys, we're talking garlic. We are actually not only just talking garlic, we're talking about a soup that's going to be garlic based. Calling all garlic lovers out there, including me, I love garlic. We're talking people who love garlic bread, who love garlic in their pastas, who love garlic pretty much everywhere. Then guys, ooh, this soup is for you. And it's made by this Jew. This is one of the best things I've ever had in my entire life. It's one of the soups I'm most proud of. And honestly, don't even be afraid of this soup because it's not going to be overpowering and overkill with the garlic flavor. It's going to be just right. And here's the best part about this soup, guys. Not only are we making an amazing roasted garlic soup, but we're also making roasted garlic croutons to go on top of it. I know, right? It's like garlic bread floating on top of a sea of roasted garlic soup. And not only am I going to show you how to make the most amazing roasted garlic soup you've ever had, but I'm also in this recipe going to show you how to make the most amazing garlic bread and roasted garlic bulbs that you can spread over some toast or some bread or eat as an appetizer as well. So you're getting 3 things in one in this recipe. So let's get a whole box of Altoids handy and go right to the Instant Pot because it's time to make some of the most outrageous, creamy roasted garlic soup you've ever had. Let's go. So I want to begin by preheating my oven to 450 degrees, alright? And while my oven is preheating, I want to prep my vegetables. Now obviously we're making roasted garlic soup here, so the key ingredient is going to be, you guessed it, garlic. And now this whole thing of garlic here, that's the bulb. The things within are cloves. So make sure you get 3 full bulbs of garlic. And even though I have magical snapping powers, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this with a knife, the mortal way, okay? I'm going to take a knife and I'm just going to simply slice off the top part of each bulb of garlic, just like this. So when we're done, it looks just like this, okay? We want to just have everything exposed and do that with all 3 bulbs. So we look like that when we're all said and done, alright? Let's just set these aside for a few minutes and prep the rest of our veggies. I'm going to take 1 medium yellow onion and dice it up. Now I want to take 1.5 pounds of Idaho or russet potatoes, peeled and diced up into sizable chunks like this. Now I want to go to my Instant Pot and add the trivet inside the pot, as well as 1 cup of water. And I want to rest my garlic bulbs that are sliced on top of the trivet. Now notice how I still have this skin on the sides of the garlic bulb. That's exactly what I want because it's going to keep everything intact while we cook. And then when we're done, we're just going to easily be able to peel it off and squeeze the garlic out. So let's just pressure cook this now. Secure the lid. Make sure that the lid is in sealing position. So I'm going to come down to my pot and I'm going to hit the manual or the pressure cook button here and I'm going to adjust the time so we're on 5 minutes. That's it guys, 5 minutes and on high pressure. So while our garlic's cooking in the Instant Pot, let's prepare our incredible homemade garlic croutons. Now of course you can just go to the supermarket and buy your own croutons and just, go the escape route really quickly that way. No problem at all, I won't judge you. But if you want to make this really homemade and really awesome, let's make our own, okay? It's so easy to do and we're going to have to broil the garlic in the oven anyway once they're done in the Instant Pot for a few minutes and the bread's going to go in at the same time. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Why not? So here's how we do it. Get a nice loaf of Italian bread or French bread, something of this nature. Slice it in half and then set that aside for a second while we prepare our amazing garlic butter mixture to slather over the bread. I want to take a 1/2 stick or 4 tablespoons of salted butter, melted. And to my melted butter, I'm going to add a key ingredient that's going to be a super key element in this recipe. You guessed it guys, some garlic better than bouillon. I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon to it, to the butter. And you can just use your fingers to push it in there if it's easier. Just make sure they're clean and then just mix it around. As well as a teaspoon of grated Parmesan cheese and 1/4 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And now just mix everything up together so it's nice and combined inside of our little butter mixture. So we have our butter, our garlic better than bouillon, our Parmesan, and our Italian seasoning mixed together. And this right here is going to be our garlic bread butter paste, so whatever you want to call it. So now let's get a baking sheet and let's place our bread on top of it just like so. And then take a little basting brush. This is like a little silicone little brush here. And then just brush our butter mixture over our bread. And be pretty generous with it. Remember, these slices of bread are going to become our croutons, so I want it to be nice and flavorful. And it's just the right amount, so we are good here. Look at that. Perfect. Now that our garlic's done cooking, we're going to allow a 10-minute natural release. That means we're going to wait until this counts up to 10, and then we're going to follow that with a quick release. So do nothing for 10 minutes, and then follow with a quick release. Now, people love roasted garlic, whether they like to spread it on some toast or eat it right out of the cloves. It's a huge hit amongst many, and a great appetizer. Now that 10 minutes of time have elapsed since our cooking time was complete, that means our 10-minute natural release is now complete. So now let's finish it with a quick release, which should take really, really quickly. All right, our pin just dropped. Our lid comes off. And there's our garlic, looking absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's transfer these to the same tin that our bread is on, and we're gonna pop it in the oven. And there we have it. There's our bread, and there are our 3 garlic bulbs, nice and cooked. But now let's drizzle some olive oil over each of these garlic bulbs. And I wanna do a tablespoon of the olive oil over each bulb. So 3 tablespoons total, 1 per bulb. So make sure you just open it up and really drizzle that olive oil over the bulb. Get all of it. Get all the nooks and crannies in there. Slowly drizzle it in so it seeps into each crack, just like so. All right. Beautiful. Now let's pop this baby in our preheated oven. So now that our oven is nice and preheated to 450, it says 425, but this is a convection oven, so this one, for some reason, it goes 25 degrees lower than it actually is due to the fan with the convection, but it's 450. Let's open the oven, and we're gonna pop in our bread and our garlic, and let it sit in there for a good 5 minutes or so until the bread gets nice and toasty and our garlic gets nice and brownish, all right? So keep an eye on it for about 5 to 10 minutes. All ovens vary. And make sure that the baking sheet with the bread and the garlic is sitting on like the mid to top rack. Not all the way to the very top because the bread will burn, and the garlic will too. But we want it like more like, just to pretend this is the middle of the oven, just 1 notch higher, like that. Like 3/4 of the way up, if that makes any sense. And after about 8 minutes, let's check on it, and oh boy, that is looking absolutely perfect. Do you see how it's looking nice and crisp and brown? You can give it a little touch and make sure it's a little, there we go, nice and toasty. Let's get this out of the oven and let it cool. And there is our nice and toasty garlic bread, which we're gonna soon cut into croutons once it cools, as well as our delicious garlic. So let's let that all cool for a few moments and go back to our Instant Pot now and begin our soup. So after the garlic cooked, I removed the trivet and I dumped out the water and I just gave it a nice little wipe down, and now it's completely ready to go again. I'm gonna now add in 1/4 of a stick of salted butter. And I'm gonna come down to my pot and I'm gonna give it some heat by hitting the saute function. I'm gonna adjust it so it's on the more or the high setting. And now that our butter is all melted and sizzling in the pot, I'm gonna add in my onions. And this kitchen is already smelling incredible. It's already keeping many vampires away from it. But we love the smell of garlic and butter, don't we? And now let's add some fresh onions to that too. Cook it in some, what do you know, more butter. It's a comfort soup, all right? And we're just gonna let this saute in there for about 3 minutes or so until the onions become a little softened and a bit translucent. Just stir every so often and let set, and then stir again. And now that our onions are getting nice and softened and a bit translucent in color, we're now ready to add our next ingredient, which is optional, but I'm adding it in because I think it's gonna add 1 kick of a flavor to it and it's gonna be delicious. But vegetarians, don't add this in there. I'm adding in 4 ounces of diced prosciutto or pancetta, whichever one you want, or even bacon, that's fine too. You don't have to add it, but I'm going to for this because I feel like it's gonna really enhance the flavor. And add that to the pot. And then let that saute along with the onions and butter for about another 3 minutes. And then stir and let set. Every so often do give it a stir though, so we can deglaze the bottom of the pot, as the pancetta or the prosciutto or bacon might want to stick to the bottom. But I really think that prosciutto, diced prosciutto, works really well for this. Okay, now we are ready to add in our garlic, and look at how beautiful our garlic is. After we cooked it in the Instant Pot, and then we did it inside of the oven and made it nice and beautifully broiled and toasty and browned, and just look at that, gorgeous, and it smells as good as it looks. So let's take our garlic and transfer each one of the little cloves. It's gonna squeeze right out into a bowl. And now let's just peel some of it away. It's gonna easily peel apart, and then just take each clove out. It should be nice and cool now to the touch, by the way, and watch this, guys. Just take the garlic, squeeze, and look at that, it pops right out. And poop right into a bowl. Just let it plop right in there. And then do that with each clove of garlic. Look at that, right out of the little shell and right into the bowl. And so you don't have to keep an eye on this and keep worrying about it burning onto the bottom of the pot. Just remove it from there and we'll focus on our garlic. And yes, your hands might get greasy doing this, but that's okay. We just wash them off. They're gonna get greasy from all the olive oil. Make sure you don't get any of the little shells of the garlic itself. When I say shells, I mean the skins of the garlic itself in there, because obviously that's gonna be a little tough. So make sure we just have the soft insides of the garlic that we're just squeezing right out into the bowl. Ooh. And look at this, it easily breaks apart, no problem at all. You can easily get this out. And we want to let this cool down for a solid 5 to 10 minutes before we start touching it from the oven, obviously. So just obviously don't burn your hands, or you can use gloves while you're doing this, but I don't think it's necessary. If you wait about 5 minutes, it might still be a little warm, but not bad enough for you not to touch. I'm telling you, no vampires are coming to this house. And by the way, some people just love eating the garlic just like this as is, like an appetizer-y kind of food, and sprinkle some Parmesan on it and stuff, and they just eat it right out of the clove after it's cooked in the Instant Pot and pressure cooked, and then roasted in the oven for a few. And people eat it as an appetizer, and I don't blame them, it's delicious. Sprinkle a little bit of salt on there, some seasonings, and poof, an amazing appetizer that's gonna make your breath smell amazing. And look at this. Whee! Look at all that garlic just coming right out of there and right into the bowl. Alright guys, that's the last of it. So there we have it, all of our garlic in the bowl, and we're just gonna set that aside for a minute. And now let's add our pot back inside of the Instant Pot, and you're gonna see, guys, once you do that, it's gonna easily, from the coolness of just sitting on top of the surface, it's gonna easily deglaze from the inside of the bottom of the pot, from what was left on there before, any of the fat from any of the meat and whatnot. So just let this cook together for about another minute, and then we're gonna add our broth. So here we go. I'm gonna add in 3 cups of garlic broth. Now that's gonna be 3 teaspoons or 1 tablespoon of the garlic, better than bouillon base, mixed with 3 cups of water, along with 3 cups of chicken broth. And then give that all a nice good stir together. I'm also gonna add in the juice of half a lemon or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, a half a cup of a dry white wine or a white cooking wine if you don't carry regular white wine, my potatoes, and of course, all of my delicious garlic that I squeezed out of each and every little clove. I'm also gonna add in a teaspoon of dried thyme and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. And now let's stir everything up. Secure our lid. Make sure we're in the sealing position. So now I'm gonna come down to my pot and I'm gonna hit the keep warm cancel button, and I'm going to now hit the manual or the pressure cook button depending on your model, and I'm going to do the cook time for 8 minutes. That's it guys, 8 minutes, and I'm gonna go for high pressure. Okay, and while our soup is cooking in the pot, let's take our delicious garlic bread, which is now nice and cooled down and really nice and toasty to the touch. Perfect for crouton consistency, and we're gonna cut them up all nicely, either using a serrated knife or a magical snap, and I'm feeling really lazy, so I'm gonna use my snap. Perfect. Look at how beautiful these big, crunchy, chunky croutons are. Nice and crunchy and toasty on the outside, and nice and soft on the inside. It's gonna be perfect as it sops up that amazing roasted garlic soup. All right, let's set these aside. And I also wanna take some fresh chives as a garnish. It's also optional, but why not? Finely sliced up so they look just like this. Kind of what you put over, like, you know, a baked potato with sour cream. And now that we're done cooking, let's do a quick release. And our pin just dropped, so let's take our lid off. All right guys, there's our beautiful soup. And now it smells unbelievable in this kitchen when that lid came off, and while it was quick releasing as well. But not an overbearing smell of garlic, just the perfect combination. All right, so now what we wanna do is we wanna combine everything together and blend it up until it's nice and creamy. And how do we do that? Well, none other than everyone's favorite kitchen toy, the immersion blender. Or if you don't have an immersion blender, you can transfer the soup in batches to a regular blender, but it's gonna take more time and it's more cleanup. So much easier with an immersion blender, not expensive at all, and I'll link it in the recipe. So convenient for blending soups. And here we go, guys. Alright guys, and we are looking really good when we're looking like this in terms of consistency. Now we just have a few more things to add into the pot and we're gonna be finished. I'm gonna add in a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, and a half a cup of heavy cream, or half and half, or something a little stronger than milk I suggest. If you want to just use milk, or if you want to be a lot healthier, you can use one of those soy milks, or you know, those fancy schmancy milks that are not really milk, but has a thicker consistency to it. But I'm going to use heavy cream, it's going to be the best result. And let's put that blender back in there and just go one more time. And presto, we are done. Let's try it out. And look at this, guys. Just look at how beautiful this soup is. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. The potatoes give it that amazing consistency of perfection. It's exactly how we want this soup. And now let's ladle it into some bowls and let's get going. I'm gonna take some soup and ladle it into a nice bowl here. This is a small bowl. You can use a larger one if you want as well, but I'm just using these smaller bowls because why not? They're a little fancy. And there we go. Perfect. Now let's top it off. I'm gonna drop in one of those croutons. This bowl is not very big, so it's only really gonna fit one of those croutons, but you can cut them up smaller if you want, or you can use larger bowls. And now I'm gonna sprinkle it with some of the chives on the side as a lovely garnish. Isn't that pretty? Hello, gorgeous. And now, let's serve it up. Alright guys, let me try this out. Look at this in this little fancy cup and saucer. It's so fancy, I love it. Here's the best part about this soup. You ready for this? There's so much garlic in this soup. You saw how much garlic goes in this soup. But it doesn't taste at all like it's overpowering garlic of a flavor. The flavor is spot on. If you're a garlic lover, not only are you gonna love this soup, but you're gonna be able to fend off people who you can't stand by breathing on them afterwards. It is unbelievable. It's an unbelievable soup. And let's get to this crouton. Look at this crouton. Listen, if you're given one last meal request, this soup needs to be the appetizer. You understand what I'm saying? Not only is it amazing, not only is it so good, and not only is the flavor so incredibly rich, but it's also so easy to make and so satisfying on every single level.
I love the crouton. Croutons pair with the soup. Look, and this little soup bowl has a little handle so you can just like drink it like it's tea. The garlic bread in this, I can't get enough. It's a masterpiece, it really is.
Garlic lovers, rejoice! And just don't invite Robert Pattinson or Kristen Stewart over to your house if you're serving this. You know what I'm saying?
And then just keep getting more croutons and just sop them up into this amazing soup and then, oh good. So good!
You know, what can I tell you? I've said it before and I'll say it 1,000 times more. The Instant Pot makes soup like nothing else can. It's so easy, it's so quick. You saw the potatoes cook down in no time in there. It's soft to the point where I can just use the immersion blender and it just purees in there and it creates that wonderful thickness for this soup. Look at that. It's not too runny, it's like the perfect thickness of a soup. This is one of those soups where people are gonna be trying it and they're gonna be begging you for the recipe.
Have another crouton.
If you love garlic and you love garlic bread, then you put these two together in bed and they're gonna make it a beautiful baby, and it's called Jeffrey's Roasted Garlic Soup. Guys, this thing is the real deal. If you like these recipes and these easy to follow videos, go to pressureluckcooking.com and look at any recipe I have. Each and every one comes with a video just like this one to guide you through it step by step. I make things so simple for you. You can pin any recipe you want just by looking at the right page and you'll see the little pin icon and pin it. And then of course you want to go to Pressure Luck on Facebook. That's facebook.com/pressureluckcooking and like that page for any times new recipes comes out, any tips, any humor, anytime there's a discount on items that might be relevant to you. Check that out and definitely like the page. And of course, subscribe to me on YouTube at Pressure Luck, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Pinterest, all the stuff. I got it all. Thank you so much for your support. And shoop, 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 shoop. I love roasted garlic soup. Oh.
All right, give me more garlic bread to put in this thing. Oh, yes.